about my experience in public service and what I think I'll do differently, as it were. Now, there's nothing wrong with our country. That's where I'll begin. I am one of those people who had the privilege of serving my country in the position of a cabinet minister for 10 years, 2 terms with President Uhuru Kenyatta. That was one of the best times in my life. With all the challenges and the crises, in the Ministry of Interior, for example, 2/3 of the time you operate on adrenaline. Because you sleep with phones on either side of your bed. There's no single night that you'll go through the night without those phones ringing, and none of them calls you to wish you happy birthday or to wish you a good night's sleep. It's a crisis after crisis after crisis. A dam has burst out in Solai, in Nakuru, and it has swept down families. Nobody knows, even at that time when the regional commission does, they know how many families have been swept down. And that is 11 o'clock at night. From then on, there's no night for you because you have got to gather the country together and make, decisions. Some crazy fellows have probably crossed the border, and we have been tracing them, and we have lost them. And chances are that they are likely to be terrorists, and nobody can trace them. We have lost them a bit somewhere between one point of the border and another. You cannot go to sleep because you don't know where they are headed. Because if they get there before you get them, you know what's going to happen. So have the time. That is the kind of life that you lead. But I want to say this, and this is my testimony. I say this very sincerely from the bottom of my heart. I thank the Lord for every minute, every hour I served. And as I said, it's the best time in my life. We were not the most, perfect or ideal group of people, but by God's grace, we were able to do much. And then I got to know the country in ways I never knew it before I went to public service, and enjoy and love my people more than I loved them before I came in, because I came to go into people's lives, you meet ordinary people and their experiences on a day-to-day basis. Some of them are heart-wrenching, others are, inspiring, but it's all in a day's work, and it's a very exciting opportunity to serve. And for those of you who were with us last night, I spent a lot of time telling you about some of those experiences and how great they are and so on. So, since independence, nearly 63 years now, we've had self-rule, we've had 3 administrations, actually 4. This is the 5th administration. And in addition to, peaceful transfer of power, we have been relatively stable, except for when we have had challenges such as we did in 2007, and when we have had, security challenges of one kind or the other. We are the anchor state in East Africa, and on the Horn of Africa, that's how we are perceived. We are the most influential and probably consequential environment within the Horn of Africa. Believe me when I say this to you, because of my exposure and travel, we are some of the hardest working people on the continent. And, we have one of the most educated populations. The reason why people choose us for investment and so on is the leverage we have is the human resource capacity that we have in our country. So by and large, because I always start by telling people that even when we have political contestations and challenges as a country and as a group of people, the last thing we can do is talk down our country, because our country is our only home on earth, and we have a patriotic duty and a citizenship responsibility to always ensure that we draw a line between country and the leaders or the administrations that will come and go and that will change from time to time. Our country, by and large, is okay. The fundamentals of our country, right from independence, are such that we could do even much better than we are doing right now, which I'm going to come to shortly. But I have to say this to you, and if I didn't, I will be lying to you. We have very fundamental challenges in our country right now. I, as somebody who has served before and served in a very sensitive responsibility, I hate to break it to you, but this is the truth. I think our country is very close to the cliff, and we are facing very, very serious challenges. When you see the level of violence in the country, when you see citizens hijacking a police vehicle and driving it around, the anger and pain and frustration down below is unprecedented. I have not seen it before. Those of you who have come from Kenya recently, you can bear me out on this. The population is angry, frustrated, and especially disappointed because of unfulfilled promises, constant piling of lie after lie, failure in critical sections of our society and our economy. You know the challenges we are facing now in the education sector, nearly chaotic. No one knows what's going to happen next. Capitation not going to schools. I am told, because I speak to a lot of principals these days, that schools are going to close a bit early because of budgetary challenges and so on. All these are signs of state failure. But the one that worries me most, and the one that should worry you most, is one, that level of violence. And you are Kenyans, I'll be very candid with you. How Mungiki, how Sungusungu, and all these violent groups came up is they started, first of all, because the former state failed, the informal state took over. So as a result of the violence and the recklessness that we have seen from the formal state, the vigilante industry is going to start growing. And if the vigilante industry grows, it means we are setting and moving to an element of anarchy. That happens when our leaders are making excuses, and saying, it is this tribe or that tribe. It is the Kikuyus who are trying to destroy government and so on. I said in public the other day when I was in Kiambu that, this has been essentially a history of excuses. In the first year of the administration, they said it's Uhuru and his administration that left us empty coffers, that didn't do anything, and so on. Whole year. The following year, it was Raila and Asmio and the Luos who are bringing maandamano and causing problems. Whole year gone. The third year, it is ni Wakikuyu wanataka kuharibu serikali. The fourth year, it will be ni Wakisii na Wakamba na Waluya wanataka kuharibu serikali, and so on and so forth. That's why I said there's nothing wrong with our country, except that we elected through a democratic process incapable leaders who clearly, sometimes you wonder whether they had a plan to govern or they had a plan to do something else. Because if they had a plan to govern, we will not be in the state in which we are. And now, I want to answer the first question, Kathy, you asked. What would be the difference? I want to be absolutely frank with you. I am here and I am interested in running because I believe that I will offer better management and better coordination of government than what we are seeing. And why? I said the other day in a TV interview that after 10 years of service as a minister, and the last 4 of them spent as coordinator of government activities, I understand government almost like the back of my hand. That what actually needs to be done